your youth, tear upon the core of blasphemy. Follow your prophet, and on evil make a victory. Let our righteousness be a role model to our children, making new generations of believers decently upbringing, with parents as an example. As gems we shape them, fearing only Allah, devoting our lives for Him.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, peace. Welcome to Closing the Gap. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap. We have with us Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sheikh, one thing that might be interesting to discuss is the gap between propagation and assimilation, between the people who are very active in da'wah and want to, when we say da'wah, we mean propagating the religion, letting people know about it, versus assimilation, people who just want to blend in and kind of go with the flow of things. So I was wondering if you could give us some insights on that.
Well, I'm reminded of something you said in one of our other programs when you talked about when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Well, there is something to that when you're in a certain society that they have rules that they follow. And for instance, if I go to London, England, or Australia, maybe India, these people all drive on the wrong side of the road. Now, they think they're on the right side and we're wrong, but of course, being American, we know they're wrong. Anyway, if you're in the UK, take it easy. We're playing here a little bit. But yes, they drive their vehicles on the left side of the road. And we're used to driving ours on the right side of the road. So if this is what somebody's implying, when in UK, drive on the left side of the road, yes, absolutely. And when you're in, the Western countries, Canada, United States, then you have to drive on the right side of the road. And if you're in Texas and you see a Texan coming at you, just get off the road. Because we say, just keep it between the ditches, that's close enough. But I want to be serious now for a minute and look at this gap here. Because there are those who consider that they've got to be propagating their religion all the time. Regardless if they're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, whatever, they feel this need to get out here and tell the world about what they have. And in so doing, they will wear certain clothes to indicate that, I'm from this religion or that religion. Or they will say things or do things or wear certain kinds of jewelry, for instance, that indicate that I'm a Christian or I'm a Jew or I'm a Buddhist, bumper stickers, another way that do that. They put bumper stickers on their cars to let you know the particular faith. And I remember one, he had a fish, a fish. Now this is Christians, they put their fish on there, and this is fishers of men calling people to Christianity. But one bumper sticker had a picture of a fish with legs growing out of it, and it said, "Evolve."
SubhanAllah.
But, so this is showing you that he's an atheist, for instance. He doesn't believe in God. What is the way to solve this problem? We're seeing a gap here because a lot of these people are really calling heavy, but on the other side, you got some people, they don't want anybody to know anything about their religion. Years ago, they used to tell us when you go to a cocktail party or after dinner party, anything like that, there are two things you don't talk about: politics and religion.
Right.
Anything else you can talk about, they talk about sex, they talk about, things that we can't talk about here on the show.
Right.
But they will talk, but don't talk about politics and don't talk about religion.
Which are probably the two most important things going on in the world right now.
Well, now they talk about the politics. I'm talking about a long time ago. Now everything's politics and world situation, wars and rumors of wars.
Right.
But still, this idea of talking about religion,
Right. Well, tell me more about these people who wish to propagate their faith and their ideas. Well, what are they doing?
Well, when I was a Christian, I was very much into propagating Christianity. That was one of the things that I did. Although I was a businessman and in the music industry, in fact, we owned Estes Music Centers, and we had our own line of pianos, our own line of organs. We had guitars. You put the Estes label out there, and, you know, branding, they call it today. Marketing is what we used to call it. But along the way, I felt a need to promote my religion. So I got involved. I became a music minister and then a preacher, what they call a lay preacher. And really into it, reading the Bible in the different languages, the Koine Greek, the Hebrew, trying to learn as much as I could, and tell people, repent, be saved. And from my own personal experience and people that I had traveled with and dealt with, there is this burning desire inside to convert people.
Right.
To whatever you're in. But then when you move to some other religion, or let's say another division of the same religion, moving, let's say, from Methodist to Baptist, or from Baptist to born again, to full gospel or charismatic, and all of a sudden now I've really got to call these people, and they want to go back to people that you told them, no, be a Baptist. Now you're telling them, no, come on and join this. You know, kind of reminds you of people in multi-level marketing. You know, when you go from the Amway, oh, I used to do Amway, but now I'm totally into Herbalife. You know, Herbalife is the answer to everything. Oh no, not Herbalife anymore. I'm into this other multi-level scheme. And so there's something inside of some people that makes them feel like they have to go out here and convert other people to their way of thinking. Whether it's a financial scheme or a religious scheme or something, they just have this need to call to it.
Right.
And so I feel like, nobody accused me of it, but I feel like people could have accused me of that when I came into Islam, because I felt the same thing. Oh my God, I told all these people about Jesus and Trinity and believing in God, the Holy Spirit, the blah, 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 blah. But now I'm saying that that's not really true. This is what's true, and let's call to that. But then I became afraid. This is personal, this is me. I became afraid. I said, maybe I am just jumping from religion to a religion, and maybe I shouldn't be out here calling people. Because what if I do change my mind later? I don't see how it would happen. But still, let me just be quiet and watch. Which was a good period for me. Those few years where just watch. And if somebody would ask me, I said, let's go talk to somebody that's more knowledgeable. And I did wear the thobe, you know, and let my beard grow. But as far as really calling anybody, I don't know. And I met people, now what we're talking about, who are from this, quote, other side. They were saying, no, don't grow your beard. Leave it, you know, shaved off. Keep it shaved, and don't wear these clothes. Just get a suit and tie. So I got thousands of that. You know, I was in that kind of industry. You know, and just make a lot of money, and that's good Islam. Take care of family. You know, establish yourself family-wise, material-wise, house-wise, automobile-wise. That shows Islam in a good way. Let the people see that, and don't worry about it. Just blend in. Right. Become homogenous.
Right.
And that was their advice.
Right. So tell me more about this group that's doing that. I mean, what's their mode of thinking? Why are they thinking like that?
I never was one.
Okay.
So I can't tell you what they think, but I can tell you some things that we can conclude from what they do.
Okay.
There could be in the background, especially those who are immigrants that move from one country to another, from one society to another, that they are afraid. They've been intimidated before, they've been oppressed before, they're afraid of what might happen. Because it's a very real thing in some countries that if you go out here in the street, you start preaching religion, you can go to jail, you can be abused, or worse, just for opening your mouth. Now that happens. That happens in non-Muslim countries and Muslim countries, both. So let's be quiet. Just keep your mouth shut. Believe what you want to believe. What's in your heart, good for you. Keep it in your religious place. When you get in the street, then go be of the people of the street.
Right.
You know, you leave your religion in the temple or the mosque. Don't be bringing it out here. Don't drag all that stuff out here. We don't need to see that.
Right. So, what advice could do you think the two need to? I mean, definitely they do need to close that gap. They need to meet together. We need to find. I mean, because we don't want to be extremists, right? We don't want to keep insisting that you have to follow this religion until they're tired of sick of hearing it. But we don't want to be so in the shadows that, you know what I'm saying?
Omar, this is a very important subject, and one that we have filled up websites with. We've made conferences about this, and international peace conferences where we bring people together.
Right.
So it is definitely something big, something much more than you're going to talk about in a 30-minute show. But suffice to say, and to put us in the right direction, what's important to know is how to give the other person the chance to talk. Because if I'm out here just shouting and carrying on and bringing my side of it, intimidating, pontificating ad infinitum, not giving the other person even a chance to respond, then they feel like they're being cut off, and it will be of no avail. What needs to be done is to have a coming together on the points where we would agree, and then having a tendency to keep it cool on the points where we would disagree, at least until there's opportunity for proper discussion. As far as the clothes we wear, let's deal with that particular one. It is not necessary, according to Islam, for all of us to run around in thobes and women wearing all black clothes and things like that. What is necessary, though, is very important, is to give rights to the other people. Now, we'll dress conservative in all cases. We're going to cover the aura. We're going to cover what needs to be covered. We're not going to be showing off with our clothes. And there's another reason for that, too, is you don't want to show off affluence and make people jealous and have hasad or envy.
Right.
Yes. At the same time, we're not supposed to be looking down on other people for what they do, whether they are, say, selling out their religion, or if they're over-demonstrating it. Either way, let's take it easy and have a chance to open up more dialogue.
And what if you're on the receiving end of the person who doesn't want to let anybody else talk? As Muslims, sometimes people can be kind of tough with us.
What I've seen from a few Muslims is the tendency to become overzealous. Now, you see it in other religions too. It's not unique to Islam. But when they become overzealous, it's very noticeable because of the things that they're calling to and the things that they're saying. But frequently, if you look and do an investigation, the background of the person, you will find that either they lived under oppression for a long time and they're now popping out of that, or they were living under a state of ignorance for a long time and they're jumping out of that. And it could be that they're coming from a background where they were totally unaware and suddenly now they're aware. The guy's only been growing his beard for 6 months. He doesn't know how yet even to make proper wudu.
Right.
He's not really skilled in the Arabic language, but he wants to come out here and act like he's the new savior for Islam. And we see these, these...
I had that problem.
Really?
I'm being honest with you. I had it.
Well, when it happens, it's good to have somebody there to buffer that.
Right.
Because this is where extremism will come from. And if somebody doesn't put it in check, it can have a disastrous conclusion.
Alhamdulillah. Well, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Closing the Gap.
Fearing only Allah, devoting our lives for Him.
The Philosophy of Islamic Law, a program for restoring belief and trust within Muslims' mind and heart, and for re-establishing a true concept about Islamic rules for others.
Fearing only Allah, devoting our lives for Him.
Bismillah. Welcome back to Closing the Gap. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap. We have with us Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, right before the break, we were talking about how to close that gap between those who really have an urge to propagate the faith, sometimes maybe even taking it to an extreme, and those who kind of wish to just assimilate, stay in the shadows, go with the flow, whatever you want to call it. And I was wondering if we could start heading towards the direction of getting into what does Islam have to say about bringing those two together.
Yeah, we didn't really go deep into the side of the ones who are assimilating.
Okay.
I think if we look at that a little more, then we'll realize how it comes this resolve. I recall again when I was brand new to Islam, going with some brothers who wanted to go out and tell everybody about Islam, but they were basically calling other Muslims to come to the masjid for prayers, things like that. And as we would travel, they had a tendency to put down the other people. Oh, look, this guy, he doesn't pray. And, oh, this girl, she's not wearing proper clothing. Astaghfirullah, Allah forgive me, Allah, astaghfirullah. You'd hear this kind of talk.
Right.
And then they would almost condescend, when they would go up to the people. And, brother, as we know, you should come to the masjid and so and so and so. And then they would run down those who were assimilating too much, according to them. So I recall one time we stopped in a convenience store to get some sodas or something to drink, juices. When we went to check out, the man who was standing there had a name tag that said Mo.
SubhanAllah.
Said Mo. Another man had one that said Ozzy. Ozzy. So I said, Mo and Ozzy, hey, what's up, And they looked at how we were dressed, and one of them, he said, Salam alaikum. I said, oh, you know Arabic? He said, I'm a Muslim. I said, Ozzy is a Muslim? I thought Ozzy is for Oswald.
Right.
He said, no, it's Abdul Aziz.
Wow.
Ooh, the name of Allah, Aziz. You say Abdul Aziz and you shorten it to Azi?
Right.
Oh. And Mo is short for what? He said Muhammad. Oh. And many times Muhammad becomes Michael.
SubhanAllah.
Call me Mike. This is short for Michael, not Muhammad.
Right.
What is this? So how do we understand what happens here? Again, we were talking about being so afraid and intimidated, they don't even want to have their own name. Even changing their name legally to something like Jeff Smith.
Right.
You're named Jeff Smith. What do you expect to see? I sure don't expect to see an Arab coming up here with a gruff voice, brother, where do we pray? And you're going, you're Jeff Smith? So it's too much. Right. The same for sisters who want to remove their hijab and put on some of the very revealing clothing of women of the West. They don't realize that they are really selling themselves out to a very sick, demented, materialistic world where men are so dominating, they're even making women think that the only way they can be accepted is to show their bodies. You can't be accepted for your mind. You can't be accepted for your talents. You can only be accepted for a naked body that fits a certain criterion. And if you don't have that beautiful body, you better go get some plastic surgery and get something pumped up and let's have a look here.
Right.
This is their mentality.
Right.
So we're telling our sisters, please don't fall for this. This is not acceptable in Islam. It's not even accepted in common sense. You're a human being. Let's see what talent you have for. What is it? Are you in arts? Are you in sciences? What is your background in this? Or what do you? But we don't need to see you reveal yourself. And so this is another subject. Maybe we should have done some program about this kind of gap, Right. But this is a gap now. What we're talking about is how we view ourselves in our religion. And if you think that you need to hide your religion, maybe you're ashamed of it. Maybe you're ashamed of the way you don't practice it. And this is valid, what I'm saying. This may be where people are coming from. What does Islam say about this? Am I allowed to hide my religion? Am I allowed to go out here and beat drums and scream and holler and drive people insane with my religion? And what have we said in program after program after program? We keep coming back to this one thing. Islam is insisting on a moderation. Islam is insisting on us being at the middle road. Islam is telling us about being ummatan wasatan, to be the people who are looking for this middle path. Yes, we want to talk about Islam in a positive light. Yes, we'd like to show Islam, but not by our mouth and not by our clothes, but by the way we treat people. This is the emphasis in Islam. It's not coming from the wealth that you have, or the knowledge that you have, or the clothes that you have. It's coming from your ability to give. It's coming from your character. Islam came to perfect your character, your generosity, your nobleness with other people, your consideration of others, being humble, being shy, and allowing the other people to have the opportunity to express themselves. These are very important parts of being a Muslim in society.
So how does Islam then curtail the person who wants to go out and beat the drums, like you said, or how does it curtail the person who just wants to totally assimilate? What sort of teachings can they look to see what they should be doing?
We have brothers and sisters who will go out and be very judgmental on other people, even insisting in some Muslim countries. I've seen it where they insist that a non-Muslim has to dress like they do.
SubhanAllah.
As the women, especially. But then at the same time, I've seen from some Muslims that they are so bent on following the non-Muslim way that men are wearing shorts, which is forbidden in Islam, but they're wearing shorts. And the strangest thing, I remember one time my daughter and I were shopping in a center one time, and I saw a sister totally covered up. Her face and everything covered up. Even her face, covered up.
SubhanAllah.
All black. So I told my daughter, go over here and tell this lady, Salam alaikum, let her know that there are Muslims shopping in the store, so she would feel comfortable. Because, in Texas, come on.
Right.
Let her feel comfortable. Let her know there's a Muslim around. She went up to her, and while she was talking, she's a little girl, talking to the sister, Salam alaikum wa alaikum salam, here came a man walking down the aisle, carrying some stuff in his arms, and he's got shorts on, short sleeve, those tank top things, and a baseball cap, looking around, and he started walking right toward him. I said, oh my God, this man is going to go up and bother them. Sure enough, he walked right up to that lady and put his hand on her basket, and said something to her, and I said, okay, that's it, I've got to go up here now and try, because maybe he's going to insult her, he's going to hurt her feelings. And as I got closer, I was thinking, man, that guy's big. Hope he doesn't deck me or something. But I got to tell him, this is a Muslim lady, please, And then when I got closer, he was talking to her in Arabic. I said, of all things, this guy knows Arabic? Then I realized, oh my God, that's her husband.
SubhanAllah.
Oh no, this man is insisting on his wife like this, and he's like this. Ay, 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 what can I say? There has to be a balance. There's got to be a balance here. Not just in other countries, but everywhere we go. People should need to know I'm Muslim by my character and what I'm showing them, not with my clothes, my wealth, my words. It's got to be coming from the heart. That's the Islam. Islam, it starts in the heart. If it's not in the heart, there's no Islam. But immediately after that, then it begins to go to what? To our remembrance of Allah. And our reading of the Quran, and our character, that we realize that these other people are like us, they're humans, they're going through their own problems. Don't be out here banging the drum and screaming and hollering at them because I just woke up yesterday to the fact that I'm not supposed to be doing X, Y, Z.
Right. Right.
And at the same time, for the brothers and sisters in humanity, I'm talking about not Muslim, anybody who is following a bad way, let me remember that I'm a human and they're a human. Let's see what we can do to help them at least get to a better level than where they are.
Right.
Does this make sense?
Right, SubhanAllah, yeah.
Helping everybody get to a more common ground. Let's move carefully together here and see what we can do to help each other. And I want to care about you so that you and I go to Jannah. I want to go to paradise. I want you to go. I want you to go. I want you to go. I want all of us to go to paradise. We're not going to get there with this attitude of I'm better than you, or this attitude of I'm too tired or scared. I don't want to talk about religion. No, we have to bring it out, but in a gentle way.
Right.
But let our actions speak volumes over our words.
What sort of actions could the Muslim do? Like if, let's say there's a Muslim watching that they're not that practicing, and they say, okay, I like what you say, I like where you're going with this, so what can they do to make their actions speak louder than their words? What sort of actions would you suggest? You're
reminding me of several years ago being in the very studio where we are right now recording a program about this subject. We were talking about this, and what we were discovering were some of the beautiful teachings of Muhammad, peace be upon him, in his society, in his time. It fits so lovely now. He said, you're not a believer. He's not a believer who fills his stomach and goes to sleep at night while his neighbors' stomachs remain empty.
SubhanAllah.
There's a good action for you. Have you been around to check with your neighbors? How you folks doing today? How's everything? Plenty of food? Listen, without insulting them, not hurting their feelings. Oh, you're poor, I'll give you charity. No. Right. But by the way, my wife, I don't know why she baked all this extra chicken. We've got, I hope you won't mind helping us eat some of this chicken. You know, and you know what? Hope you like chocolate cake. She got 2 of these cakes, and I don't know, you know. And then what's going to happen? They'll say, these people are pretty nice.
Right.
And I didn't come over, I didn't put a cross on it and say, hey, we're Christians. I didn't put a half moon on there and say, hey, we're Muslims on it. No, it was out of the love that I have for a human being.
Right.
If they want to ask me about my religion, fine and good. If they don't, that wasn't why I was sent. The Prophet ﷺ told me now to take care of my neighbors. Right. He didn't tell me to propagate on them and insist on them and force them. Tell them what? Tell them I'm here as your neighbor.
Right.
Then, when the opportunity is right, when we are talking about religion, when it is time to discuss it, be clear on what your message is. Call to Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, yes. Forbid what is evil. Call to what's right, yes, absolutely. But in the meantime, let's don't be using the food as a tool to say, well, you know, hey, if you want any more food, come on over to the Muslim house with the big M on it. Did you see it over there? With a big star on the door. No, come on. You know?
Yeah.
So we've been ordered by Prophet ﷺ, take care of neighbors. That's only one of many things that he ordered us. Another one is when he's telling us something, we all have this problem, you know. He said, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir yaqulu khayra aw yasmut. Let the one who believes in Allah and the last day either say good or zip it. Keep your big mouth shut. He didn't say it like that. I give you Texas tafsir.
Right.
Don't be out here yakate. You were talking with somebody, you know that Omar Dunlap? Oh my God. I mean, he's a nice guy and everything, but his breath will knock you off. What is this? But seriously, you have people who can't stop talking about other people.
Right.
Prophet ﷺ is saying, if you believe in Allah on the last day, you can only say good things. And if you can't say anything good, be silent.
SubhanAllah.
Just be silent.
Well, Sheikh, that's all the time we have for this particular
Speaking of being silent, we're going to wrap it up.
SubhanAllah. But we thank you for being with us, and to our viewers, we hope you'll catch us next time, inshaAllah ta'ala. Until then, I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, wishing you peace. Assalamu alaikum.
O youth, tear upon the core of blasphemy. Follow your prophet, and on evil make a victory. Let our righteousness be a role model to our children, making new generations of believers decently upbringing, with parents as an example. As gems we shape them, fearing only Allah, devoting our lives for Him.